everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Pauline the Analyst, and today we are about to dive into one of the most essential SQL operations, and that is the inner join. So whether you're building your reports or analyzing your data or even just querying your database, understanding joins is absolutely crucial. So by the end of this video, you will be able to join tables like a pro. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to cover in this video. 1. What is an inner join and when to use it? 2. How to set up our practice database with related tables. 3. The basic inner join syntax with clear examples. 4. Common mistakes to avoid when joining tables. And finally, the real-world scenarios when inner join shines. So let's dive in. In our next segment, I want us to understand what inner join is. So, an inner join returns only the rows where there is a match in both tables. It's like a Venn diagram intersection. And why is this powerful? Because it lets you combine related data from different tables into a single result set. You'll use this constantly when working with relational databases. So in our next segment, we are going to set up our practice tables. So let's create 2 related tables to work with. We'll use a simple e-commerce scenario with the customers table and orders table. So let's create the customers and orders table. So to create the customers table, let's write it down. Create customers table. We'll start by writing create table, okay? Create table. And that is the table name, which is customers, okay? And then you open your bracket. Then we want to create our columns. And my first column will be the customer underscore ID. Then since it's a number, the data type will be an integer. So that will be represented as int, and this will be the primary key of the table. Okay? Next, we will have the customer name. And since it's text, its data type will be a varchar. And I don't want it to have more than 100 characters. So I will write that down over there. And I don't want any null values. So we will write not null. Okay? Next, we will have, the next column will be the email column. And since it's text, it will also have the data type, which is the varchar. And I also don't want it to have more than 100 characters. So I will indicate that there. And for this, I only want it to have unique values. So there cannot be any duplicates, okay, on it. And then finally, we will have the sign up date column. Sign up date column, and from the name the data type will be a date, okay? And I also don't want any null values here, so I will write it as not null. Close your query with our bracket, finish your query, highlight it like this. Let's do it together and execute it, and voila, our customers table has been created. Next, I want us to create the orders table. Create orders table, okay guys? So just like the previous one, we'll write create table, and the table name is orders, just like that. Open your bracket. Then now let's insert the columns, right? So in my first column, we will have the order ID, order underscore ID. And just from its name, its data type is going to be an integer because it's a number, okay? And this will be the primary key for the table. Next, we want to have the customer ID as my next column. So customer ID, and since it's a number, it will still have the same data type, which is an integer. Next column, we will have the order date. Okay? The order date. And from the name, its data type will be a date. And I don't want any null values here. So I will write not null. Okay? Next column will be the amount column, and its data type. You know that the amount or the price of something can have decimal. So I want the data type to be in decimal. Okay, so decimal, and that will be 10,2. And it should be not null. We don't want any null values here. And then let's push this down so that we can get what I am saying. So next, we will have the foreign key. Okay, guys? The foreign key. If you don't understand what foreign key is, guys, go to my previous videos. I have explained it very, very well. So foreign key will be the customer ID. Okay? Customer ID. Then close your bracket. Then we will use references. That will be customers table. Our references will be from the customers table, and that is from which column? The customer ID, because this is where there is a relationship. Okay, so close your bracket and then finish your query. And then highlight it like this, and then execute it, and voila. As you can see from my screen, my command has been completed successfully. So I want you to notice how we've set up a relationship between these two tables using the customer ID, which is over here, as the foreign key. So this is the column. Okay, this is the customer ID over here, and this is also the customer ID over here, but we have created it as our foreign key because we will use this to create a relationship between these two tables and to join the two tables. So in our next segment, we want to insert now data into this table. Let's move down. So insert data. So I want us to populate our tables with some sample data to work with. So in the customers table, into customers table. Okay, since we want to insert data into a table, we will use the insert into. Okay, very good. So we want to insert into our customers table. Here it is. And then the values that we want to insert are, so we come down here and start inserting. So in my first row, I want to insert 1 as my customer ID, right? 1 is my customer ID. Then next is the customer name, which is John Smith, like that. And then next, we want to insert the email, which will have John at example. This is an example, at example.com. Then close your text. Then next, we want to insert the sign up date, okay? So that is the 2023 date on the 15th. So close that. And then close your bracket. Then on the next, okay, let's move this a little. So in our customer ID, next we'll have 2. Then in the customer name, we will have Sarah Johnson. Sarah Johnson. Sarah Johnson. Then email, we will have Sarah at example.com, okay? example.com, and then in our sign up date we will have just like the previous one, 2023 second the 20th, that. Close your bracket. Then, oh sorry guys, if you don't insert a comma it will be an error, sorry about that. Then next, the customer ID will be 3, very nice. Next we'll have Mike Brown as the customer name, Mike Brown. Then next we'll have the email, which is mike@example.com, mike@example.com. Then next we'll have our sign up date, which is 2023. That's 10. Amazing. Then close your query, okay? So this is, we are inserting into the customers table. So, sorry about this. So we're inserting into the customers table. So highlight it and then execute it, and voila. 3 rows have been affected. That means your query has been completed successfully. So next we want to insert into the orders table. Orders table. Amazing. So in the first, we'll have insert into. So insert into just like the previous one, and that is the orders. Amazing. There you go. So we are inserting values into this table. So in my first row, that is the order ID, we'll have 101. Okay. Then the customer ID is 1. Then the order date is 2023, April the 5th day. Amazing. Finally, we'll have the amount, which is, let's say, 99.99. So close your bracket. Then next, we'll move on to the next row, which is 102. Very simple. The customer ID will still be 1. Then the order date will be 2023, the April 12th. So amount will be 49.99. Close your bracket. Move on to the next row, which we will have the 103 as our order ID. Our customer ID will be 2 over here. Then order date will be 2023, April the 15th day. And then the amount will be like 149.99. Okay. Then we move on to the final row. Close your bracket. Final row. That is 104. That's the order ID, 104. Here, the customer ID, I want it to be null. Null, amazing. Then under order date, we will have 2023, the April, the 18th day. Okay, amazing. Then amount will have 29.99. So close your bracket and finish your query. And I want you to understand that this order over here that I am highlighting, the final row, this order has no customer. Okay, so let's highlight our query because we're inserting it into that. Let's highlight our query and then execute it, meaning that our query has been completed successfully. Now moving on to the next segment, we want to understand the inner join syntax. So let's write that down. Basic inner join syntax. Okay, guys? Amazing. This will be our first inner join, and the syntax is select columns that you want to use. So columns, then from maybe table 1, and then you inner join. This is the syntax, like the formula. You inner join table 2, because you're connecting 2 tables, okay? Table 2 on. You join something on table 1, and then the column name, which equals to table 2 column name. Okay, I'll explain it with, this is just its syntax. This is what you use to always remember the inner join. So I want us to join our customers table and orders table to see which customers have placed orders. So let's write that down. Join customers and orders table to see which customers have placed orders. We'll just use this syntax, the inner join syntax, like I said. So we'll start by writing select. So my first column is the customer name, okay? So I will represent it as C. That is customer underscore name. Next, we move on to the order date. So that will be represented with O, and that's order underscore date. Then next we have another O, which will be represented by the amount, guys. Amount. So all this comes from the customers table, okay? Customers table that is represented by C. Then we want now to inner join. So inner join the orders table. Amazing, here it is. Inner join the orders table, which is represented by O, on the C, which is customer ID, that is equal to the O, which is also customer ID. This is what joins them. This is what joins the two. So finish your query, highlight it, and then execute it. And voila. As you can see from my screen, let me enhance this. As you can see from my screen, we have already added the data into the table, but we have joined the two tables. That means we have here customer name, order date, and the amount. I want you to notice that we only got 3 rows back, even though we have 4 orders, like you can see from my screen. That's because inner join excludes the order with null customer ID that I showed you previously, and any customers without orders. Okay, so moving on swiftly, we will add more tables to the join as our next segment. So adding more tables to the join. I want us to make this more interesting by adding a third table. And this table, I want it to be called the orders table. So let's create order details table. Order details table. So this is our third table, as you all know how to add a table. So let me reduce this so we can create a table. So create table, order details. So open your bracket, then add in your column. So for my first column, I want it to be the detail ID. Since it's a number, it will be an integer data type. This will be the primary key for the table. Next, we have the order ID. Order ID is an integer just from its name, so the data type will be an integer. Next, we have the product name. That will be a varchar, and I don't want it to have more than 100 characters. And we don't want it to be null, so not null. Next, we have the quantity column, okay? And since quantity is a number, the data type will be an integer, and I don't want it to have any null values, so not null. Then we also have price. Price is a number, but since it can have decimals, I want it to have decimal as its data type. Okay, amazing. And I also don't want any null values, so not null. And finally, we also have to include a foreign key because we are joining tables, guys. So foreign key in this will be our order ID. Order ID, and our references will come from the orders table that has the column name order ID. Amazing. So finish your query. Let's move this up. Finish your query, highlight it, and then execute it, and voila, our command has been completed successfully. But I want us to insert some order details into this table, okay? So let's write it down. Insert some order details, okay, or data. There we go. So insert into the order details. Amazing. Order details. The values that we are inserting into this table is, so under the detail ID we have 1. Then under the order ID we have the 101. So under the product name, let's call this wireless headphones. Wireless headphones. Then next we have the quantity, which is only 1, and then the price will be 99.99. Close your bracket. Then next we move on to our next row, that is the detail ID, which is 2, the order ID, which is 102. Then next we have the product name, which is the phone case. We have the phone case. Then next we have the quantity, which is maybe 2 in number. And then finally we have the price, which is $24.99. Amazing. Then the next row we will have the detail ID to be 3. I hope you're following along, guys. This is all for you. So 3, then we have the order ID, which will be 102. Product name, I want it to be the screen protector. Screen protector. And then the quantity will be 1. And then the amount or the price is $10. Okay? Then finally, for my final row, we will have the detail ID to be 4. You can use auto increment in all this, but let's just do it manually. Then the order ID will be 103. Then we have the product name to be the smartwatch. And then the quantity to be 1 only. And then finally our price should be $149.99. Amazing. So finish your query. highlight it. Let's move this down. Highlight it and then execute it, and voila, 4 rows have been affected. Now I want us to join all these 3 tables that we have connected to get a complete picture of orders with their details, okay? So let's do this. We want to join the 3 tables. To get a complete picture of orders with their details, okay guys? So that with that, our query will be select, very simple, select. So we'll start with the C, which will represent the customer name. C, which will represent the customer name. Next, we'll have the O, which will represent the order date. Next, we'll have the OD, which will represent the product name. Next, we'll have the OD as well, which will represent the quantity. Then finally, we'll also have the OD, which represents the price. Okay, and all this we've gotten it from our customers table. Amazing. Customers table, which is represented by C. Okay, so we want to inner join. Remember guys, we're joining 3 tables. So inner join orders table, which is represented by O, on the C, the customer ID, like you can see over here, the customer ID, and that is equals to the O, which is also the customer ID. Then also inner join the order details. There you go. Order details, that is represented by OD, on the O, which is the order ID over here, which equals to OD, that represents the order ID. I hope you can get what I'm saying, guys. So let me execute this. Highlight it and then execute it. And voila! As you can see from my screen, my table has been created and we have just joined 3 tables together. The customer table, the orders table, and the order details table, as you can see from my screen. So in our final segment, I want us to know the common mistakes that we ought to avoid as analysts, okay? Number 1, forgetting the on clause. This will give you a Cartesian product, okay? 2, using ambiguous column names. Always prefix with table aliases. 3, joining on the wrong columns. Always ensure to double check your relationships. And finally, assuming all records will be returned. Remember, inner join only shows matches. I'll finally give you some real world scenarios where inner join works, okay? So 1, we have generating customer purchase histories. 2, combining product data with inventory levels. 3, linking employees to their departments. And finally, anywhere you need to combine related data from multiple tables. Very, very simple. And that's the complete guide for the SQL inner join. If you found this video helpful, smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get more SQL tutorial. If you have any questions or you want any topic covered, drop them in the comment section below. So until next time, happy coding!